right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the CRAVE podcast. It has been a minute. We ain't seen y'all in forever. You ain't seen us, and we're sorry for that because it's wonderful to see us. So we're glad to be here. I got the usual suspects with me tonight. Miss Clarissa, how you doing?
Ooh, I'm making it.
All right now. Courtney.
I'm good. How are you?
I love that we can see the tats and the skin, honey. It's giving. It's giving. I'm good. And Anne, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good, good. Everybody looks all radiant and bright and lovely and healthy, and it is giving me life. So we're going to hop into a subject about life. But for us, maybe like years ago. So we're going to talk about when we were early 20s, maybe young teens. What was life like for us? What were we doing? Who were we hanging out with? Were we flirting? Were we dating? Was we cutting up in the club? Was we good little church girls? What were we doing? So if there is a volunteer to take it first, I will give it to you.
I was stupid. I'm gonna just
Okay.
leave.
Same.
Courtney.
I was doing stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing with people I wasn't supposed to be with. I was in college, just doing whatever, living life, doing whatever. Not I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. We just gonna leave it like that.
Where we gonna leave it? Lay it at the altar.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna hop to Clarissa because I feel like backstory. I knew Clarissa and Anne when they was in these ages and time, but I knew Anne better. I just knew Clarissa was very smart and very holy. But I'm gonna let her
your
take
kind
it.
words. That would be accurate. I didn't decide to lose my mind until I got to 30 for some reason, but in my 20s I was doing fine. At least in the beginning. So I'll say yes, I was consistent. I still am consistent, going to church and all those things, serving in a lot of different ways. But in my early 20s, I wasn't flirting with nobody because I was like, I don't know about this whole marriage thing because
you was flirting
the circles
with
I was running in. Well, the circles I was running in was like, you date to marry, and I was trying to date to have fun. So I was like, well, I guess I don't want to do that.
13.
And then a little bit later in my early 20s, I was like, well, I guess the marriage thing isn't that bad. But I don't know. I think I was on the straight and narrow at that point.
Yeah. Okay. And Jeanette.
My government name. I was naive, curious, excited for no reason. I just felt like I had just exited a contract from my parents, that 18-year contract. I finally had the freedom to travel the like Robert Frost says, the road less traveled. Like I just felt like it was the first time I got a chance to, do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't living in other people's fears. I was just really just young and free. Like I think I did just about everything I wanted to do. Like, of course, I went to college, but if it was a road trip that I wanted to go on, if I wanted to go do something fun, I was more daring. It's some things that I wouldn't do now that I did back in the day. Like I'm not getting on a roller coaster in my 30s. Like I could get on a roller coaster and that's kind of how life was. It was like whatever. It's like I felt like I had a margin of error to make mistakes and bounce back. Versus now it's like, well, we don't got no room. We have no time. So that was it for me. It was I did have fun. It was very adventurous. I wore whatever I wanted. Borderline, whatever. But I had fun. I would say my 20s was a lot of fun. I don't have any regrets so far. Besides letting people boss me around.
Yeah. I love that. Like I feel like I was just kind of floating through life. Like I'm young. I was a bit arrogant. I definitely was living, loving Jesus. So, but I mean, I think back then, like one of the people said that I was like a mix of Benny Hinn and Beyonce. Yeah.
What?
Right. So, but I mean, that was pretty much like a good description. Anyway, yeah, it was just different. You were young and vibrant, and it kind of felt like the world was your oyster, and there were so many possibilities, and it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. We definitely had some adventures, and I remember we went to Charlotte and then drove down to Myrtle Beach, you and Tierra. Just some young stuff, right? Like, oh yeah, okay, we're here. It was like we were in Charlotte, and it's like, hey, let's just drive to Myrtle Beach. And how long was that drive?
It had to be a little minute. It had to be a minute.
It wasn't like it was just like 45 minutes away. Like, oh, we're here on vacation. Let's
not that close.
45 minutes away. Okay, so let's dig in it and let's get a little juicy. So, okay. What did you guys do socially?
Like, I went to the movies a lot back then, and I was shopping a lot. Like, the mall still was like exciting.
It was
at that point. But then I was like, I mean, I guess there's more to life than this. So I was trying to like slowly start to do more traveling internationally. But I was like, well, I need money to do that. So I had to scale
right. Yeah, I forget about that. I feel like back then the mall kind of was still a thing.
Yeah, that's true. Some of them still like it. Like one of my Columbus nieces was like, let's go to the mall. And I was like, who out there that you want to see? But apparently she just wanted to spend money. And in my head, I was like, but you don't have money. So I don't understand. But apparently some kids still like the allure of the mall.
No, but I feel like when we were younger, it was like, it was a hang mall, you're gonna see people. Yeah, yeah. And it's not that anymore. Like, I know whenever I go in, it's like, ain't nobody here unless it's the holidays or something like that. But I don't feel, Anne, do you feel like it's like that here?
No, not at all. I mean, I remember, and this might sound cheesy, but it was a time where you got cute to go to the mall. Like it was it was a part of the agenda. Like, now you just going to you take that risk and throw on something comfortable, and you may not see nobody.
Not
but
that risk.
Back in the day, you planned to see somebody. It was a big difference. You knew you was going to see somebody. You wanted to be.
Right. You wanted somebody to see you and be seen and talk to you.
Right. Now it's like, I'm going at this time. Ain't nobody gonna be there. Like, I'm just running in, run out. Pray to God I don't happen to see nobody.
It was literally a fashion show. Like, I don't know if it was just the area that we're in, but it was literally like you put on your best clothes and your feet gonna hurt, but you in 4-inch heels. 4-inch heels just to be cute in the mall. You worked in the mall too. We worked at the mall.
American Eagle, hello.
People did work in the mall.
You worked at the mall, and then you got off to go back to the mall. So
right. It's true. Or like Clarissa said, like the movies. I feel like the movies were such a thing back then.
And they were at the mall.
Courtney, give us a glimpse into what you was doing. Where was you at? Who was you hanging with?
I don't know if she can tell us based on what she said.
No, early 20s. I was okay. I think I had my group of friends, and like we were, we went to class, and then, depending on, because they were both from North Carolina, so we might go to one's hometown, and then for the weekend we go to somebody else's hometown.
Okay.
We was going to the beach, or just getting out and just doing whatever we felt like doing in the moment.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. Like you said, it was super free.
Yeah.
Living life.
What would y'all do if there was a guy that you were interested in back then?
Oh Lord.
What was the flirting style? Did we flirt? Did we not? Like, what was that like? Clarissa, given your noise, I need to hear.
Well, okay, so in my defense, even though I ain't looking like the person that would do that in this specific moment, but just follow me in your imagination. So apparently, according to my friends, like my just like regular chatter was flirtatious. And I would be like, no, I'm just like talking to people, like I'm having conversation. Like, what is wrong with that? But people were like, why did you think he asked you for your phone number? I was like, I guess because he thought I was cute. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
So that would be like
God.
regular like conversation. But there would be time, like if I was really interested in somebody, that I would try to let them know, because I was like, listen, I don't want this to take forever. Or like I would have my friend, like I was still like doing that high school stuff. At that point, I would be like, I need you to talk to so and so and find out what their thoughts
Ah.
are, because that's less risky for me. That way I won't be out here. And they would be like, no, you should let him talk to you. Because a lot of in them circles, they was like, the man should leave. I be like, I ain't got time to be waiting on some of these people. I need to know, like, check yes or no. So it just all depended.
Okay, okay. Courtney, I saw you in deep introspection.
No, I've never been like a club person for real. Excuse, no, ma'am. You see this?
You want to be in the show.
Right. I wasn't a club person. I didn't approach guys. Like if a guy wanted to talk to me, is you gonna have to come to me still, like you guys, same thing. I'm not. So I wasn't.
Come on, Courtney. It's fun to walk up to them, but it's your story. Tell us what you did.
I was very much so. What you looking at me for? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't really. At least in the beginning, it wasn't like I'm trying to talk to you, or you know what I'm saying? I like you, like you gonna have to talk to me. Like that's just what it's gonna be. So
that's funny, Courtney, because I remember one time in my early 20s, I walked up to this dude at church. Now, unbeknownst to me, he was 20 years older than me. And I was like, I think we got to go to lunch. And he was like, all right, cool. Like, where you want to go? So I was like, let me go ahead and let you know that I'm interested.
And what was your game style?
I didn't have no game because I was always the girl who had a boyfriend. Like, I was always the girl who had the lifetime boyfriend. So my role was the wing chick to my other friends. I'd play wing chick to my other friends, and we would have the game plan where they would try to get in a situation. So I'd have to be the wing chick to the left, right. And I'd always have to come up with a nickname for myself in case my brother was feeling me and I was lightly feeling him. And the nickname would be something just outlandish like Lisa, and that was my role. I had to be wing chick named Lisa to help my friends who wanted to be hooked up. So it was kind of boring. I always had a boyfriend. It was always, I'm in a relationship. So
I was gonna say that when I asked you, I was like, you was always booed. I was very much so like, I was not going to say anything. Like, I just wasn't. It was like, if you were interested, you will come to me. I guess it was like, back in the day, the whole like, you looking at somebody or something, like that should be hints enough. Like, I see you looking, and yes, I'm not looking, so but you would most definitely have to come to me. Hats off to you, Clarissa, for being like what it is. But I don't think I've ever done that. Like, I have done the whole, like, I've asked about people, but I don't even know if I did the whole like, hey, tell your friend, like, whatever, or can you go over and talk to such and such and tell them. But I would just, like, if there was someone else, I'd be like, who is that? Like, who that be? And in my head, because I told you I was arrogant, well, they'll see me one day, and
well, I think for me,
what will be shall be.
Right. I felt like I had to catch up. So in school and stuff, like when I was like 13, my parents were like, okay, you can date when you're 16. Then 16 was approaching, and they were like, oh, you can't date after you graduate. So in my head, I was like, I'm making up for lost time. I ain't got time to wait for these dudes to walk up to me. I mean, it's go time. Like, so I was just like, listen.
Ain't nobody got time for these games.
I got time. And in my head, I was like, okay, they're either gonna say yes or they're gonna say no. I mean, what they gonna say? So I just was like, I'm gone. I'm just gonna do it.
So Ann touched on like how she would dress and everything. But Courtney, like, what was you rocking back then?
I was very casual. Probably like still how I am now. Not doing too much. You know, t-shirt, jeans. If I was on camp, and I went to all girls school, so
Okay.
was sweatpants, t-shirt. I was very chill, regardless.
Yeah.
Not too much.
I feel like in that phase, like Ann said, it would be like always in some heels, always G'd up, like it's like all the time. And I'd be going somewhere getting dressed, and one of my cousins would be like, "Where are you going?" And I'm like, "Here." Like, what are you like? Your dress. I don't need a special occasion. But all the time, it was like, you are dressed to kill, okay? You was not
hate
catch
going
us
places
slipping
with
back
you.
then. You said what?
I used to hate going places with you. I was like, Lord, what do I got in this closet? I know I'm not gonna be able to match her, but let me try. What's the best that I got? Oh.
It was always a moment. Me and Ann were talking about that the other day, like when we got together. And I saw her and I'm like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. Like she was like a little Parisian moment. She had a little like a corset almost like top and okay. I love it.
It's funny because when I hang out with Des, I'm like, I'm going to the fashion show, I'm going to the concert, we going somewhere. So I'm laughing because at our big girl age, we do celebrate comfort a lot. The self-care movement is like primary right now. But back in the day, it was like you knew you went out the night before and you're gonna get up the next morning, go to church, and your bed is closed still, and your feet hurt, and you should have reserved your feet. You should have wore the 1 inch or 2 inch kitten heels. Kitten heels wasn't a thing back in the day. If you wore kitten heels, it was like, who mama or who auntie are you?
No.
But you knew you had to go to church with the same feet that you went out.
The same feet.
And your feet are just like, why? Like, why? Who's going to do it? And you're just like, I'm gonna. Yes.
I was not in the clubs. Like, I wasn't. That was not my scene. I like get very like, ooh, I don't want people up on me and around me like that. So I think for me back then, it was more so like going out to eat was like the thing, and just like you said, like anywhere where there was gonna be some people,
Right.
Now, one thing I will say, I remember, oh my God, when we were younger, the fair used to be the thing. I was not wearing no heels to the fair. I think one time I wore some wedges and I paid for it, and I was like, I can't do it, not never again. But it would be people for real, like on that asphalt, walking around for hours in some heels, and I'm like, God bless your heart.
And when we go to the fair now and we see that age group, even the mature teenagers to the mid-20s, I just be like, oh my God, was that me? Like, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh.
Right.
What are you doing? Like, go home and change your outfit and be comfortable, enjoy the sun, enjoy the nice fresh air, enjoy your lemonade. You can't enjoy your lemonade because your feet hurt.
Agony, okay? Okay. So is there something or a mindset or a freeness that you had? Is there something in your early 20s, late teens that you feel like you kind of held on to, or maybe something you lost and you wish you still had?
My eyebrows.
My eyebrows. Yes, the eyebrows for sure. I know for me, I would say like in terms of just getting out and doing stuff all the time. Like for instance, I remember at that time with my church, I was really involved with the evangelism team, and we would be out like in the summer, like 2 and 3 days a week, knocking on doors, talking to people about Jesus. And I was like, we got to get out here on these streets. And so while there have been opportunities, I'm like not out there like I used to be all the time. And I was like, man, even though, like I said, there are opportunities and I'll go to those. But I was like, man, I was thinking about that recently, and I was like, oh shoot, with everything going on in the world now, like this is the time to be out there for real. So that's something that I thought about recently.
Side note, They made me at church one time. They was like, I don't know how I got roped into this. Okay, we gonna walk the neighborhood and hand out tracts.
Right, supposed to say
That is
tomorrow.
that's not my portion. That is not my ministry. I rallied against it. I'm like, I do not, there's got to be somebody else that feels the same way that I do not want to do this. Like, I don't. Like, put me on the prayer team. I'll stay here and I will pray for lost souls. Like, I will do not make me go knocking on doors. Like, my heart ain't right. My attitude ain't gonna be right. I'm on your door just as much as you don't want me knocking on it.
Come back in. What was the thing that you lost from your 20s?
I was scarred. Like, I hated that. But anyway. Thank you, Marissa, like, for bringing up memories. And besides your eyebrows, is there anything else?
That might be the only thing. I'm just joking. I kid. I don't know. That's a deep question. To be honest with you, I still feel like I'm my young self. I always felt like my peers were always a little bit more mature than me. And, people were ready to start families. People were ready to get married, buy a home, do a lot of things that I deem responsible. And I still wanted to be young and free. And I don't know. I would say I kind of wish I still had that mindset somewhat still where I have time. I wish that I didn't take time I never take time serious, obviously. But in terms of the longevity of accomplishing things, I feel like time feels a little bit more shorter than before. I felt like if I did things, I had room to make mistakes and bounce back. Versus now, it's like I'm not as daring to take risk. You know what I mean? Because it's like time feels limited. So that would be the only thing. I wish that I still, even though I still feel like I have a young, vivacious personality that still kind of instilled in me, I just wish that I appreciated time a little bit more. I was a little bit more open to time the way I used to be.
You said vivacious, and I think that's you in the CRAVE, isn't it?
Yes.
Courtney.
I would say time, but from, I guess, the perspective of figuring me out.
Okay. What I majored in, it's not what I'm doing now. I was preoccupied with other things when I should have been figuring me out and what I want to do and all that stuff. So I would say time in that space. Yeah. I think for me, there was, again, like I said, you felt like you had your whole life ahead of you. Mm-hmm. So there's maybe some of that vigor for life that, I wish I could just dip on back into the 20s and grab now. And it's like, I feel like I'm fighting toddlers and crap all the time. And I just put that like vigor back for life. And, just hope. Maybe that's it. Some of the hope that you had, it was like the possibilities were endless. And I think sometimes because of that time portion in peace, you do kind of feel like, oh Lord, I am knocking harder and harder at 40's door. And there are so many things I want to accomplish and experience and do that, sometimes it does feel a little daunting. And I think, someone in their 50s would probably hear us talking and crack up. But it does. It feels, like clock is ticking. So some vigor, it's that vigor and that excitement and that can do maybe, attitude. If I could dip back and get some of that, like I would take a double portion of that right now. And it's always so nice to get together with you ladies like this and talk and chat and reminisce and all of the things. I love y'all dearly. To those out there that take the time to watch and listen, my stepdaughter told me tonight, she was like, Desiree, I watched one of your videos. And she like subscribed to so then she ran back here and she was like, you about to record? I was like, yeah. She was like, let me know when it's up and I'm gonna watch it. Oh, that's so sweet. But anyway, I love doing this with you guys, and I look forward to many, many more. This was fun. I had fun tonight. I learned some things I didn't know. So we will be back with more episodes. Stay tuned, stay strapped in, and we'll see you guys next time.